Alright, I'm gonna say it. Acoustic treatment is pointless. Yeah, and that's how I've decided to start off 2023.
How dare you!
Okay, now before all of you start arriving on my doorstep with tiki torches and pitchforks,
No, there's no justice like angry mob justice.
hear me out for a minute. And why I would say something so blasphemous will make total sense. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with the rules of setting up a home studio. Rectangular room, make sure your speakers are firing down the length of the room, blah 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 blah. Now, as a recommended starting point for setting up a home studio, that advice is all well and good, but there's a lot of things it doesn't take into consideration. Now, the first one is that typically there's ideal dimensions for this room. Well, how many of us in our spare bedroom happen to have a room that happens to be these ideal dimensions? Probably very few of us.
Well, yes, I suppose I do.
For the last time, no you don't.
And you might think, okay, well, whatever, my room's still a rectangle. But what constitutes as a rectangle? I mean, your room could be 10 by 12, which, yeah, technically is a rectangle, but it's also almost a square. And we know that square rooms are the worst ones to work in. And that says nothing about what if your room doesn't happen to be rectangular. What if you're like me and in the dreaded L-shaped room? And even if you do happen to have a rectangular room, none of this takes into consideration what the room is constructed out of. So let's say you're using a spare bedroom. It's rectangular, awesome. You see drywall on the left of you, drywall on the right, you think perfect. The walls are the same, that'll be good for imaging. But depending on where in your house this room is, well, the walls might both have drywall, but they might be completely different walls. If the wall on the right of you is an interior interior walls are just made up of studs sandwiched between two pieces of drywall. There's nothing there. Whereas if the wall on the left of you is an exterior wall, that wall's going to have drywall. There's going to be insulation. There's going to be plywood on the other side of that. There's going to be siding. It could be brickwork. So in that room, yes, the walls look identical, but the construction of these walls are completely different. So what does that mean? Well, that means the sound waves coming out of your monitors are going to interact with the wall on the left and the wall on the right differently, just due to the way they're constructed. And it's all these sort of things that make acoustic treatment completely pointless. So if we want our acoustic treatment to actually serve a purpose, we need to look at our rooms differently. Because if we just blindly set up our studio the way the internet tells us, we're going to spend so much money on acoustic treatment and bass trapping that we might not even actually need. I mean, could you imagine spending thousands and thousands of dollars on acoustic treatment and bass traps to find out you didn't need a fraction of what you bought because all you had to do was move your sub a little bit? Maybe move the desk closer or further from the wall. Maybe put it on a different wall. And maybe it would have solved most of your problems. And all that's free. It's just moving some stuff around. So in order to get our room set up the best we can, and only needing to acquire acoustic treatment and bass traps for what's necessary, we have to actually go by the physics of how sound moves around in our own individual rooms. Not just off some internet forum that says it has to be this way and that's the end of it. So in order to do that, all we have to do is set up our desk, set up our monitors, and just listen to music. Listen to music you know really well. Start taking some notes. If you happen to have a measurement mic and Room EQ Wizard, even better. And then just listen. How's the imaging? How's the high end? Is your low end boomy? Is it disappearing? Make your notes and then move the setup to another spot in the room. Rinse and repeat. And basically just go through this process until you find the spot where your low end sounds as good as you can get it, the imaging sounds as good as it's going to get, frequency response sounds as even as you can get it, and that's the spot where you want to set up your desk and your studio monitors. And once you've got that all done, yeah, you're still going to need some bass trapping, you're still going to need some acoustic treatment, but if you've already found the best sounding spot in your room, you're going to need far less of it. It's why my desk is in the corner. Yeah, that's the wrong thing to do, but my room's also L-shaped. I've been here for, I don't know, like a decade, and I've had my setup in every possible configuration you could think of in this space. And as much as it drives me nuts, this particular corner is what sounds best in this room. That's what the physics of this room, sound-wise, dictate. Even though on paper, this setup is about as wrong as you can get. So as always, I hope this video has been helpful. If you guys have any comments or questions, just leave them down below. And as always, I've been Mr. Jeff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So take it easy. Bye.